When you're looking at a monitor that promises OLED, 240Hz, and a super-wide curve, it's easy to feel the tug between excitement and hesitation. You've probably seen the glossy screenshots, the hype videos, and the endless claims that this is the ultimate setup for gaming, movies, and even work. The real question is whether the LG 39-inch Ultragear lives up to those promises in the everyday moments you actually spend in front of it, and whether it justifies the price tag. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about what makes this size and shape different from a regular 27-inch flat panel. The 800R curvature means the screen bends gently enough that your eyes naturally follow the display without having to refocus constantly. In a typical gaming session that runs 3 to 5 hours, that can reduce eye strain compared to a flat monitor, especially when you're turning your head to track fast-moving enemies. I tested it with a few titles that are notorious for demanding quick reflexes *Valorant *, Cyberpunk 2077 *, and Forza Horizon 5 *, and the curve felt like it kept the action in a sweet spot rather than pushing it to the edges. The immersive feeling is genuine, not just a marketing gimmick. The OLED panel is where the real visual advantage shows up. Because each pixel can turn off completely, blacks are truly black, and that translates into a striking contrast when you're playing dark-themed shooters or watching movies with nighttime scenes. In practice, the VESA DisplayHDR True Black 400 rating means you'll see deeper shadows without the grayish washed-out look you sometimes get on high-end LCDs. I noticed that in The Last of Us Part II, the foliage and dimly lit interiors had a richness that made the environment feel more tangible. For creative work, that same pixel-level control means color grading and photo editing are more precise, though you'll still want a calibrated profile if you need professional accuracy. Now, the headline 240Hz refresh rate and the advertised 0.03 milliseconds response time are meant to appeal to competitive gamers who can't tolerate ghosting. In the titles I ran, the motion looked exceptionally clean. Even during rapid pans in *Racing Evolution*, there was no smearing, and the frame pacing stayed consistent. The monitor also supports both NVIDIA G-Sync, through compatibility, and AMD FreeSync Premium Pro, so it can sync with the majority of modern GPUs without the dreaded tearing. If you're on a high-end RTX 4090 or a Radeon RX 7900 XTX, you'll actually see the benefit. On lower-end cards the extra refresh doesn't add much, but you won't be penalized either. One of the practical strengths I found is the USB-C connectivity. Plug a laptop in, and you get video, data, and power delivery all through one cable. For a creator who flips between a workstation desktop and a portable MacBook, that reduces desk clutter and makes the monitor a true hub. The built-in speakers are modest, they won't replace a dedicated sound system, but they're louder than the tiny tweeters you get on most monitors, making them acceptable for quick game chats or background music while you're working. But there are trade-offs that matter once the box is opened. First, the size. At 39 inches, the monitor dominates any typical desk setup. You need a deep desk and a sturdy mounting solution. The stand that comes with the unit is decent, but the footprint is large enough to bump into when you're moving around. If your workspace is cramped, you'll either have to rearrange or consider a smaller panel. Second, OLED panels, while stunning, have a known risk of burn-in if static UI elements sit for hours on end. The monitor includes pixel shift and logo luminance reduction features, but they're not a guarantee. If you spend a lot of time with a static HUD, like a radar in a flight simulator, you should be mindful and perhaps rotate content or use dark themes where possible. Another subtle weakness is the price point relative to the feature set. You're paying a premium for the curve, the OLED, and the ultra-high refresh. If you're a casual gamer who mainly plays at 60 Hz or you're a professional who needs color accuracy above all, you might find more bang for your buck in a larger flat-panel IPS monitor that offers better factory calibration. The built-in anti-glare coating does mitigate reflections, but in very bright rooms the OLED can still reflect light more noticeably than matte-finished LCDs, which could be distracting if you don't control ambient lighting. So, who should buy this? The answer is simple: anyone who wants an all-in-one solution that feels as close to a personal cinema as it does to a competitive gaming rig. If you already own a high-end GPU, care about deep blacks for both games and media, and have the desk space to accommodate a 39-inch curved screen, the LG Ultragear delivers a unique mix of immersion and responsiveness. It also works well for content creators who need accurate contrast and a generous workspace for timelines and toolbars without sacrificing gaming performance. Who should skip it? If you're on a tighter budget, you'll find similar refresh rates on 27-inch IPS panels for far